Right, welcome back guys. So welcome to video 128 on the Studebaker. So I'm going to carry on with these doors and bodywork obviously. I think now on the last video I glued up and put some little sticks in the holes for the hinges because just the body moves so much, nothing would line up on this side. The other side seems to be okay. I think I'm ready to put this other door back on. I've got to have a quick look at it. Just the sun was shining in there so much yesterday, it made it difficult to look from both directions to get a good look down that door now that I've shrunk the crap out of the skin. I'll turn it around and show you, hold on. Just in case you missed the last video and you haven't seen it yet, this door here, because of the way they joined this is a new door, it was being remade, but before I got to it, and they joined the skin on really strangely for some reason. I don't know why, but it had come out here and it had come like this, and it had quite round in here. This skin was a long way off that wood. I'll show you on this other door. So this one here is basically touching that metal. You know, the wood's touching the metal. You know, there's a little bit of a gap down there. But this other door would, you know, you could get your, I could get just, I could get that dolly in there, and that's thick. Like this here would be, I don't know, that would be, say, 1/8 of an inch thick, thereabouts. Like that's a bit over 1/4. It's not 1/2 an inch, but it's somewhere between 1/2 and 1/4 inch thick plate, which I made it's quite a heavy spoon I made up. You could get that in here in places, whereas now it's, you know, I'm struggling to push that other spoon in there. I made that skinnier spoon to get it in there so I could get right into out here if I need to try and get out here to panel beat, because it was so weird and ugly. If you go back and look at the other video, or I might be able to throw a little bit of that footage in before I started shrinking it. It was very balloony in here, and it just looked strange coming down here. Looked strange because it would come like that and it would go, you know, that's exaggerated, but that was kind of what it was doing, and then flowing back. Because I needed to flatten it way out. You know, I shrunk it down here for start off. You can kind of see the line I sort of drew around the area I thought to do for start. Come up here, shrunk that back, still wasn't enough, so I shrunk a bit more, and then I ended up coming way out here to try and get it to pull down. There's possibly some other spots I could probably come back and do a wee bit more, but I think I've got enough out of it. I might just planish it a bit more with just hand planishing, because I don't have a planishing hammer. I might planish it a wee bit more, just see if I can get it a little bit less lumpy, but it's not bad. But yeah, it fitted like, just looked crap. You know, whereas now it's a nice even transition. It's not, cause it was sort of bulged out here, and it was sort of like rolled into that, and it was actually sucked in along here, and it was high here, so they actually had a lot of body filler in it to get it to blend in. You know what I mean? But it was because it was too high. I'm still gonna have to skim this whole door now because I've done this to it, but you know, like a thin skim, you know, where you can see patches of steel coming through is fine, but now at least now it's not going to be thick along this edge, and it's going to be a nice transition from one panel to the next. So this door fits okay. I've just got to put the screws back in it. I just clamped it here because it was an easy way to have a quick look, take it off, do some more, because I got sick of screwing it on and off basically. So yeah, I've just got to re-screw that on. I'm going to have to blow a bit more etch over it, especially on the inside, just to protect that bare steel. So I need to give it a clean up. I'll DA it back, whatever. Really, I missed a little bit of etch on it before I put body filler on, because I don't like putting body filler too much on raw steel, if you know what I mean, like on big areas. It's probably okay at the moment, like I've said in earlier videos, because the temperature's not too bad, but in cooler months, body filler can sweat against bare steel, and then you end up with rust in between. And then, you know, you get a few years down the track and all of a sudden you get a piece of body filler pops out, or it busts out, and it's like you can see the rust, you know, oozing out and a crack or something stupid. You know, you don't want that. So that's why I'd put, this is a Super X Etch epoxy single stage. You could put a 2-pack on there, but for what I'm doing, and if you're doing the metal work and then going to body work quick enough, you know, you're not having any issues with moisture getting through. And this is a good barrier. This would keep you most moisture at bay for quite a while, you know, while you're working on bits and pieces, you know. But anyway, so I'm going to see if we can get these doors screwed on properly without them being queer like they were. I just can't believe how much this body moved. It's a crazy amount of just, the doors fit in the holes, like the shape, but I don't know, just for some reason everything's moved and tweaked and whatever, and it's enough that just things sat totally wrong. You know, it was weird, like a wooden frame, steel skinned car, and just with all this wood structures, just, you know, obviously between taking it off and have it sitting and whatever, you know, it's just moved a shitload, and it just, nothing would line up, or, you know, we put the screws in where it was with the shims in it that were, and it was just tweaked and queer. But anyway, I'll get these things on. Righty, so what I'm going to do here, I've got the steel ruler, so what I'm going to do, so let's clamp that door. I've got the hinges screwed back on. I'm just going to clamp this door so it can't wiggle around on me too much, just so I'm not fighting that. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this down here like this, just hold it from one edge to the other, and that'll just give me an idea. I know this rule is not 100% dead straight, because it's been twisted and bent a few times. Just see if I can get it a little bit straighter. It's not bad. It's better. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to run it down here like this, and that'll just tell me, because I'm flat here, hopefully you can see that, can you? Yeah, I'm flat here and I'm flat here. It's flat across most of that door. I'm just going to run it down here like that, just so I can get a bit of a look and just see if there's any other places I really need to maybe do any shrinking on. It's not bad. We're pretty good. Like, it's not bowing out or anything. It's like bottom of this doors sits out a little bit here. I'm not worried about that too much. I can put a little bit of extra body pull on here just to bring it close without coming, you know, stupid. Like, as I said, this thing has moved that much between what was on the first time and then lifting it off and then coming back on. Like, it's not worth. If it was steel structure inside, like you could chase millimeters, but because the thing moves so much, yeah, I think it's not worth. It's, you know, worth getting close, really close and looking nice, but without chasing everything to perfection, because you would never get it. You know what I mean? Like, you'd get 1 month it would look really good, you know, and you get you know, like maybe if it was out in the weather you know, you're driving around and got wet and then it came out hot, the thing would move, you know, and the gaps would never ever be 100%. You'd look at it one day, it would look good, and then you look at it the next day and it would look weird, you know. So I don't think there's much point in chasing it stupidly, if you know what I mean. We're just trying to get it nice, you know, better than factory, hopefully. But it looks pretty good. I don't think there's anything major. It's a little high here, but it's not bad. You know, the skimmer body filler is going to pull it up, you know. It's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Just slide this along here a little bit. You know, I could probably shrink here one more time, but do I think it's worth chasing or not? That's the thing. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, there is the odd spot that you could possibly, yeah, like I could come back in here and shrink this, and I think that would just, I might do this one because I can actually see it's pushing the ruler out a little bit, if you know what I mean. So we might just do here, here's my marker, typical, I've got one in my pocket, so I think it was here, wasn't it? Just run that down there. I'm just going to have a look here. Oh, it's down there, wasn't it? Here. Pretty sure that's where I was. So we'll shrink it there. I think just the once we'll do there. Just see if there's anything else. Possibly do it up here, but I don't think it's worth it. I think I'll just between, you know, we'll get it with the body filler. That is pushing the ruler out a little bit there. You know, like again, you'd probably get away with it, but it's not going to hurt me to come back here and have to shrink it once more. Might just do there too, and that might just help. If I do it there, it might help just pull that in, because there's a little bit of a high spot here too, but I think if I shrink it there, hopefully it might just pull that and pull that down. You know, and if I planish across it, across that whole area, I think it'll come. I might, it's kind of that same area. I might just do it. Just do one more in here, because it's a bit, it's not bad. Like, again, I'll get away with it, but I can see that that one spot is high. You know, like, if I go like that. So I'm going with the curvature of the panel, you know, like that's flexing across that. The door is, you know, it's got a twist in it, so it's got a natural curve that way anyway. It's got a natural curve that way and that way. So you're trying to use the ruler as a guide to see how much clearance there is between this and the panel. You know what I mean? So it's lifting it off. Yeah, look, it's not bad, but it's probably you know, we're talking maybe 1/8 of an inch between that high spot and these lower spots. Whereas up here, like it might be a 1/16, you know, or less. So I don't think that's worth chasing, but that's possibly worth chasing. You know, just that little bit. And the same here, that will help flatten that down and flatten the ruler out. I could probably get away with it, but you know what I mean? Like a little bit less body filler. See, I was thinking I might have to shrink these pieces, but I don't think I might do that one. We'll do that one. I don't think the rest of it's going to matter. that will just pull that whole piece down a little bit. That's not high, it's way lower. But that is sort of the centre of it, of the next high spot, you know what I mean? And I think everything else is good enough. So we'll do these 4. I'll put across in there, across on there, across in there, so I don't get confused with anything else, and across there. I think that'll do us, and then I'll planish the rest of it. And it should be good. Hopefully you could sort of try and see what I was doing there. Right, so I hammered it a little bit, found the worst of the high spots. I actually sprayed a wee bit of black spray on here, just misted it on. And you can still see where some of it is, obviously. I run the speed fire across, found the worst of the high spots. Planched over those high spots to try and even out a little bit. And then I speed filed the whole panel again, you know, a reasonable amount, and I've just de-8 it, and I'll actually just speed filed it just a little bit again. I don't want to take too much off, but I've just knocked it's knocked the worst of the tops off. So I think that should be pretty good now. I've done a little bit of work to this front edge. Hopefully you can see that okay. I just I hammered that back a little bit and tried to roll that edge around a little, the best I could. And then I just run a flippy wheel sander down there a couple of times just quickly, just to take a little bit off, you know, without breaking through. And I think it's not a bad gap. You know, it's sort of consistent with the rest of it. It is what it is. You know, I'll try and get it a little bit cleaner and better with a little bit of body filler and high build and whatever, you know. We'll just, by the time we block it back a couple of times just down the edge, you know, with the sanding block, you know, I've got a bit of material on there. You know, just the thickness of what the material is. You know, by the time I run the flat block down there a couple of times, that'll take a little bit more unevenness out too, so should be good. I think the rest of it, I've actually got that clamped up a little bit there just to try and hold the panel, and so I gave another decent look, but I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'll give this a bit more of a clean up just to get this black paint off. Actually might wipe it down with a bit of thinners and just try and get the worst of that black off, and then blow a bit of edge on. Or I might even just brush it on, just use a paintbrush and just slap it on, and it's not going to matter, let it dry, and then we can at least put some body filler on it. I'll give this inside a bit of a clean up as well at the same time. So that's cool. I'm about to take these other doors so we can get these fucking screws in their right places, so I'll carry on with that. Righty, so I brush painted and slapped a bit of edge on that door inside and out. I actually roll-loxed it, actually ripped over it with the roll-lox as well. One of those little ones on the angle die grinder. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, and just brush painted some edge from that. So that, you know, that'll be dry in, you know, about half an hour, if that. So I've cleaned up the glue off where the hinges sit for this front door. Now I've got this clamped in here with 5 clamps. And I've got a packer under the back corner and the front cornerish, if you know what I mean. So the door can't go down, can't go back, can't go forwards, and I've got it here, so it's just holding everything, the door closed at that position, at a reasonable gap all the way around. I've got it pulled here or there, like we can jiggle a little. I can probably actually pull it forward a little bit at the bottom here with the clamp, because every time you give one a squeeze, it'll twist and tweak a little bit. But I think I've found a slight issue, which I can hopefully, I should be able to rectify, if you know what I mean. So this hinge here will sit down on the timber within reason, but this one here, got this bloody gap here. So I think what's happening is when I screw it in, and it pulls the hinge down, that's where I'm getting the screws going back to the original area. So obviously I need to take a bit more material out so I can get this screw jiggled it, work out where it needs to come off anyway, so this hinge can come and sit flat while I've got this door clamped here. And then I can re-screw my screws in here into the where I've plugged all the holes, and everything should be, and if the screw hole's in a slightly different position, then it should stay in that position, hopefully. So I've got bits of timber in there, and it's that glue, and it's hardened up pretty well, it's going to harden up even more. So I think we should be right. So I'll need to get this hinge to sit down on this wooden frame properly, with this gap here. I think that's my issue. So obviously when it pulls up tight, then we end up with this fight in this corner, hitting down and pulling down. So that's my problem, so I need to solve that. So we'll have a wee look and just see if I can work out what's going on. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. It looks like, if I'm just having a wee look in here, I'm actually going to use the phone hopefully to help me. It looks like it might be touching in this hole but not coming down anywhere else, if you know what I mean. So there's something holding up in this area. We'll have a wee look. I don't think it's this edge, I think it's something in here just not allowing it to come down flat enough, and now it's pulling it all off skew, and I can't get the screws in the right place. So yeah, we'll work on that. So we'll come back to you when I've got it solved. So another wee look at the bottom one. I think I'm pretty good. I might need to flatten off just a little bit through here. Looks like it's not quite touching at the bottom, but that's not a major. But if I can just get this to flatten off a little bit in the centre, it'll just get me a slightly better. It'll pick up this bottom hinge a bit better too. But that seems to be sitting fairly flat. 90%, or I'll say like probably 85% of it looks like it's sitting pretty good. It's just sitting a bit low. It's a bit of a gap at the bottom, but this whole thing's missing. So we'll carry on and we'll come back down when we've got it sorted. Righty, I think I got her. That's what was happening, I think. The little piece of wood that I actually stuck on there initially, it was a wee bit wide and it was catching the showing a spare hinge. It's catching on this piece here. It was just a little bit wide and it was catching, that's what was picking it up. So when I put it on originally, yeah, it sort of screwed everything up. So it was unfortunate, but that's what it is. Sometimes you don't see these things. But we've got this pretty nice in the hole. I've got it slightly back. I might just pull it forward just a little bit and get our screws in there. So I'll just squeeze this up a little. Hopefully it just come forward a little. Yeah, because it's just, it's pulling each thing. It looks pretty reasonable in the hole. I'll eventually stretch this corner out a little bit, but I'll get the freaking thing on there first. As I said, like that doesn't quite fit 100%. That's a little bit proud, but we can might be just tweak that in a little bit, but I can live with that, you know. I can put a little bit of body filler just to make it not so quite so noticeable, and I can probably take a little bit off here, just on the edge, just feather that edge back a little bit so it's not quite so noticeable. It is what it is, it's an old car. You know, and it's not, unfortunately, it's just, I think these spots here are the underneath skin from where the plate is screwed onto the body, of the body of the door, if you know, the wooden frame of the door. It's a steel plate screwed onto there, and then the outer skin's pulled around it. So that's, I think that's the head of a screw, just sticking a little bit proud when it's been screwed in there, and the panel just won't quite pull around there, if you know what I mean. It's tight, but it's not bad, you know. You feather that edge off. Actually, we'll feather that edge off and we'll just see. Where's my panel file? Here. Now if we take a little bit of that edge off, like this, if I can. I can probably bend this, the edge of the corner back, but you know, you take a little bit off that, so it's not quite so high. If I can bend this little corner in a little bit extra filler just on this edge here, and you'll never know. Right? And it's, well, you know, we can be slightly proud there, and it's not going to matter a shitload, you know, wooden body car, and everything moves. But we'll try and get this out so it's better, so we don't have to have the material thick here. But it's just that one, that's just that little bit in that corner. I can hammer and dolly that once I get the frickin' thing screwed on. So we'll do that and we'll come back. And we'll see if we get a decent result. Alright, moment of truth. We just got 2 screws in each hinge. I've just let all the inner clamps go, and we'll let this one go. See where we're at, eh? Hopefully, these pieces out of the road. Get off. Why does it do that? Weird. It's not as bad as it was, though. Stupid friggin' bodies, eh? Wooden bodies. But pretty happy with that. I'll attack this with the what do you call it? Flappy sander on the grinder, just to make sure it's got a little bit more clearance. But that's pretty good. I think I'm going to go with that, because I'm sick of fighting with it, and it doesn't look too bad. Could do with being up a little bit. You know, like it's, look how much I can move it, you know, without trying. So, yeah, possibly need to pull it up hard in that corner and then screw it. But oh, it's like, you know, how much do you keep trying? And because it's wood, it's, you know, it's a pain in the frickin' ass. The only thing I can think of is maybe if we might just pull those front bolts down a bit harder. Just see if that'll kick that cowl down just a little bit. And it might just fix that problem. So yeah, I can screw that cowl down a little tighter if I have to, just to see if it'll alleviate that problem. But it's not bad. It's not like it was. Not like it was. I think with the door latch in there, as you close it, it'll close up pretty good. Right, I'll soon get this back one on. Righty, so had a couple of visitors, but she's all good. Can't remember where I got to. I've been anchoring that brace. I put a screw, a T screw in here, just try and hold a few things. I'm about to put some other screws in these bottom braces because they're not screwed into anything either, those angle bits. See if that makes any difference with anything. And I'll also got a screw over there. I haven't put the ones in the front of that brace yet. But I just had my mate Matt here from C.A.R Gas. So if any of you guys here in New Zealand, or especially this area, give Matt a ring. If you need welding gas, he'll sort you out. They do nitrous oxide and all sorts of stuff. So he just dropped me off another bottle from the welder, because that one is almost empty. So he's dropped me off a big bottle, so that's awesome. I think it's whatever, there's double in a bit the size of that one, so that's mint. That was lasting me for ages. So it's cool. So I've got a spare bottle now, so if that one runs out, or when that one's getting close to running out, we can go fill that one, and vice versa. So always have a little one as a spare. So that's mean. So yeah, I'll carry on and see if we can get the last of this stuff done, because I've just been talking to Matt for probably a good 40 minutes. But anyway, that's cool. I'll carry on here, and yeah, I'll come back when I've got some more sorted. Right, I got this door beat. So, putting those screws and stuff in there, I put all the screws in everywhere that I know of at the moment, well, except for probably down right there in the corner, but I can do that later on. But anything that sort of matters, so what I've done, I've put screws in there, that one, put the mounting bolt screws in there. I'm not sure, I think they're probably meant to be a slightly bigger thread, but that's what I had, and pulled it up. And the same on that side. So it's made a hell of a difference to this door. It's brought it up, and you know, I can close that now without hitting anything, and it's nice and level, and now I'm not hitting, so that's perfect. It looks like it's about exactly where it needs to be. That's really good. The gap might have grown slightly at the back too, which is not too bad. I could possibly shim it back a little bit at the bottom corner. I might do that. It might have pulled it in a little bit there. So I might do that. But that's a minor thing. And that would actually, it wouldn't matter if it came up a little bit. So that's cool. It's either that or I'll just run the grinder down that edge and just take a level of it off there. If I have to weld, if it splits, I have to weld it up. Should be right. So that's cool. I'm happy with that. I'll give it a couple of tweaks later. We'll get this back door on. And again, thanks. Matt, I've put a little board up here. I want something else that I can put. Cool. I actually want something I can put some stickers on, but I just threw, this was off the press box. I just threw it up here just so I could put some business cards up on here. So yeah, Matt, awesome, thanks, and I threw mine up there. I've got a couple others at home. I've got some from my Horse Garage and that, so I'll bring one of them here, put up in here. I want something metal that I can put some stickers on, but this will do for cards anyway. And you know, for my regular supply stuff, you know, I'll get some bits and pieces up here and whatever, so it'll be just handy little board. I might paint it white so I can write stuff on it maybe. We'll sort something out. Or might make something better, but that'll do in the meantime. Well, it was fun trying to work out how to hold this freaking door in place so I can try and get some screws in here somehow. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that yet. Under here, so I can get these pulled in. And try and at least get 2 screws in there, or try and get it marked so I can drill the holes, because I can't get in here because of this. But I had no real way of holding it, like especially at this end. You know, it was really awkward, so. So hopefully this works, and we get the door on. Righty, so I think I'm almost out of here, but I'm going to have to do something with this. So this door hinge here, basically what I did is I marked it where I thought it was sitting, because I can't get in here to screw it in while the door's closed. I tried that, it didn't work. So I've got another door hinge that's the same, sort of like a spare but hasn't been cleaned up. I marked where the hinge fitted. I took a rough measurement for where this line is, so where I marked it on the wood. Transferred it to the other hinge, lay it on there where it should be, and screwed and drilled and screwed the holes and then fitted to here. But I think the problem is, and it's really weird, I don't get it, you know, with all the, like I said, like how much this body for some reason has moved. Like the doors still fit the holes fine, you know, within reason, you know. It's twisted a little bit and flexed a little bit. I just had a couple of comments from John and C.A.R finisher on YouTube. You know, he said they would put turnbuckles in the doors and lots of stuff. Like, the doors fit the holes. They're not, don't seem to be twisted or anything like that. It's just for some reason this body has changed shape a bit, and they just, where these are bolted, because these don't move, they're mesh steel brackets, but where the hinges bolt to the door and the depths that they bolt onto the door, it's just changed. It's weird. I don't get it. Because of the end credit for my video, if you have a hard look at that when I walk around, the doors are fitting really, really freaking good. And that's how I try to put them back on, and they just didn't fucking fit. This side's the worst. The other side wasn't too bad. I managed to jiggle that round and pull a shim out or whatever, and fine. But for some reason, this side of the car has, I don't know whether it's come in or out or what it's done, and it just doesn't, it's just not the same anymore. And he was also saying, you know, where he put the body mounts on, this thing is hard bolted down. These coach bolts, this is how they've done it. I've looked at a 26 has never been pulled apart. It's hard bolted down. There's no mounts, no rubber, nothing. It's like the 8 bolts that hold the body to the chassis are the 8 bolts that hold the body to the chassis, and it's just bolted down. That one up there, and far side of this wreck is the same. I've had a look at that. I know the guy in Australia. I think I'm pretty sure I asked him the same question. He's got like one of these. He's got a 2-door coupe. I think he's got a roadster, and he's got a truck, and they're all the same. It's just obviously how they Studebaker built these cars in like 25, 26, because that one's 27 on the far side, and they're all the same. The engine is direct bolted to the chassis. I've asked that question too, because it bolts to this. It's got this thing here on the front of it. It's bolted direct to the chassis. These mounts here are bolted direct to the chassis. There's no rubber, nothing. She's rigid friggin' mounted. So the body is bolted down the same as what it was. There's no shims, no washes, nothing. The only thing is I've shimmed is these little brackets, the front of the cowl, because when I originally did it, it fixed my door gaps without having to change these doors. I managed to get enough change in it, and it stayed basically the same. My door gaps are good. Before, these were really wide, and when I did that and bolted everything down, it was enough to change it, and that stayed. Like for some reason, the holes that way, the squareness have stayed the same. It's like these here have moved in and out, or this here's moved in and out, or something. Something's flexed or moved, or something. It's weird. I don't know. I don't get it. And I had to run a drill down through these because I couldn't get them to go through. The only thing I can think is I finished the floor underneath this and the packing underneath this chassis, and it doesn't, like, it's not as though it's sitting on it, but it's not sitting on it. Like, it fits good. There's no issues there. But that's the only thing I can think of, is maybe this is more rigid now, and it's changed the shape of the car when it was bolted down. It's stopped it from flexing a bit more, I don't know. It's weird. So yeah, John, yeah, it's rigid mounted, motor's rigid mounted. It's just, yeah, these doors here, because I had little shims in behind the doors, I managed to either take one out or put one in, or shim the actual door on the post and on the metal bracket backwards and forwards, and I got them to fit. But these ones here, I just can't get to fit. Like you can see the gap there. That's what it needs to be to make this door fit. Otherwise, if I screw it in, it's like sticking up here. It's freaking crazy. So, and like haven't changed anything. It's just weird. I don't get it. So something's moved. Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. And it's mainly this side that's bad. I had to glue the holes up I put dowels in and glue the holes up in that door. And I've had to do the same here, and I'm going to have to do the bottom one again, but I'm going to glue some extra material on top of that too. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drill those holes out big, make some big dowels, jam them in there, and I'm going to put some extra material on top and glue it all down. And hopefully that solves my problem, because yeah, I just can't get this door to fit nicely. But anyway, I'm going to carry on. Right, so I've got this piece rough cut, glued in there. It's probably a little bit thick, but I can trim it down whatever tomorrow. Pain in the ass, yeah, it's obviously just not enough material in there now. I probably could have taken it up with 3 or 4 shims or whatever, but we'll glue a piece of wood in there, get it set up, shave a little bit off it, whatever, drill some new holes, and hopefully be done with it. Because yeah, it's a bloody good gap in there. Like I could have taken that with 3 or 4, 2 or 3 metal shims, probably 3 I reckon, maybe more. But I thought, oh, screw it, we'll just put a piece of wood in there, glue it on, we'll shape it tomorrow, and drill it, and then hope like how this frickin' thing fits. It should. Like I said, yeah, like it's the last one to go, and it's close, but I just can't. Yeah, for some reason, this is just, it's sitting too far in, and it's just changing things, and it's just not working. Weird, I know. I don't get it, but it's been a fight, but I've got there. Hopefully, an hour in the morning, maybe, and we should have the door fitting, and I can get on with the freaking rest of it. I'm happy with everything else. This is good. I'll tweak the corners, whatever. But yeah, I'm fairly happy with how it fits now. I think by the time you put a catch in there and put it on the thing, that'll be fine. See if I can get that corner out. Now I can have a go at that. I think everything else is pretty good. This one fits pretty good. That definitely flattening that out helped a shitload. This one fits pretty nice. I think this one's probably the best within reason. I think by the time I smear a bit of mud through here and even it out, it should be good. Anyway, I'm going to carry it, go home. The phone's going flat, and I've had enough for the day. But we've made a heap of progress on trying to get this stuff to fit again. Got that door fitting better. Got that one to go. I've been trying all frickin' afternoon, but it is what it is. I did have about a 40-minute break when Mr. Matt from C.A.R Gas bought me a nice bottle of gas again, so that's cool. I've got a little in that bottle. It's not showing up in the gauge, but it's still, when you're wowed, it's still letting a little bit of gas out. So I'll run it till it stops and change it over, and then we'll get that other one full at some point. And yeah, when that one runs out, I can switch her over. That's cool. All right, I'll catch you later on. Hey guys, if you need welding gas, go see the boys at Cool Gas. If you're in New Zealand, yep, go see these guys. They'll look after you. Cool Gas, New Zealand.